Forces we know is anything that gives a push or a pull. We know that forces are also a vector quantity, which is the reason for all these different arrows. Today's discussion is about the types of forces. One type of force is called the force of gravity, and it's abbreviated as F sub g. The force of gravity we know is caused by the Earth, and it's always in the direction of down. Normal force, abbreviated F sub m, is caused by a surface, either a floor, a table, a ramp, a ground, whatever, and it's always in the direction perpendicular to the surface, or up. So the normal force is the opposite of the force of gravity. The normal force is what keeps us from falling through the floor. Or, if something is sitting on the table, the normal force is the force that keeps that thing on the table from going through the table. So in other words, it points up. There are what we call applied forces. Applied forces, one example would be the force of tension. The force of tension, or abbreviated F sub t, is caused by ropes, wires, strings, cables, etc. And the direction of tension is always along the rope or wire. Tension is constant throughout a rope or wire when the force has been applied. Kinetic friction is friction due to motion. It's abbreviated F sub k, and it's caused when two surfaces are rubbing together. The direction is always going to be parallel to the surface and in the opposite direction of the motion. So for example, here's a picture of a match being struck on some surface. That friction, which is caused by the two surfaces rubbing together, also causes heat, which is what you can see here, but it's going to be in the opposite direction of the way you are striking that match. The last type is what we call static friction, or friction while at rest. It's abbreviated F sub s, and it's caused by, again, two surfaces rubbing together. The direction is always going to be parallel to the surface and opposite of the direction of motion. But the difference between the static friction and the kinetic friction is that static friction changes to balance out the forces while kinetic friction is constant. Static friction causes things to stay still on their surface.